Support for this episode of the PowerCast comes from Mark Bell's Slingshot. Check out the all-new website at howmuchyoubench.net. Bench heavy with no pain with Mark Bell's Slingshot. Powerlifting apparel for people who lift heavy-ass weight from 8manstrong.com. NaturalOrganics.com, the official home of Urban Ice Organics Kratom. Keep your mind and body synchronized. Head over to NaturalOrganics.com. That's NaturalOrganix.com. Chimera Coffee is a premium high-altitude coffee infused with nootropics. Nootropics are brain vitamins that help promote focus, cognition, memory, and mental health. Grab some Chimera Coffee to enhance your mental and physical edge at chimeracoffee.com. That's Kimera, coffee with a K.com. And bodybuilding.com. Bodybuilding.com is the world's #1 fitness website and supplement store. Bodybuilding.com has free fitness plans for every fitness level. Visit bodybuilding.com today to become your best self. In episode 157, our pre-roll discussion kind of takes us somewhere we probably shouldn't have gone. Anyway, I apologize in advance if we managed to offend any of our female audience or anybody else. It was a teachable moment, however, and I think we all learned something. And speaking of learning something, the rest of the episode is pretty much a bunch of questions that we get asked so frequently that we get to the point where we just sort of skip over them because we think they are things that people already know. But this time we ran them down and hopefully cleared them out, and hopefully everybody learned something. So do us a favor, like and share this video, and enjoy number 157. It's still not the same. Snapping back
like a vagina.
Thankfully, those snap back.
Indestructible.
Recorded live.
But they don't really, right?
Oh, no, they do.
No, snap back.
This
They snap back like your
Mark
hat.
Bell's
Like some.
PowerCast.
Snap
Not
back
fully.
and
Alongside
tattoos.
Silent Mike and Jim McGee.
Mostly.
Here's your host,
99%.
Mark
About.
Bell.
99%?
Probably at least 99%.
Yeah, it's like a good waistband. Snaps back into place.
99%.
Probably, yeah.
That's pretty good. I wouldn't imagine. I thought maybe it would go like 60.
No.
Oh, it goes 60.
That's
That
why I
would be
thought,
bad news.
That's why I thought it is bad news.
No, that would be.
I thought that's why it's bad news and no more fun.
No, that'd
No,
be really
no.
bad.
It's still
news.
fun.
That'd be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
That's
at
what I thought it
60%.
was.
No.
Why else do we have that joke?
Yeah, 60%.
It's 99%.
I think
I don't know what the exact
Above-
percentage is.
Above 80?
I think
Yeah,
the joke
absolutely.
is just on us.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel fooled.
You
Is
can't. So you can't technically murder a pussy. That's the news.
That's
That's
what-
the bad news.
That's what I mean.
I know.
You could have
can
like,
try.
What's the most kids one person's had at a time? Like 6 or some shit? Like a dog?
Those are usually cesareans, though.
Oh, so then it's 100%.
It's 100%. Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah.
All this math.
Get on.
Triplets?
I don't know
Anyone
how-
throw triplets down the hallway or no? That's always a C-section.
They can, but it's just it's a question of how much distress they're in at the time.
I've seen a lot of porn, and if
Wait, are there pregnant ladies in porn?
the
Talk to
kind of
Austin
the kind of
about
porn that I watch, no. But on a more weird note, I am attracted to when women are pregnant for
Yeah,
some reason.
I think
don't
a
know.
lot of people are.
I
Not a
like
lot
the
of people, but
I
I've
like
heard
the
people.
bloat. I think I don't know.
but not as much as Austin.
Because they look like
Yeah.
a power lifter?
Yeah, not as bad as him.
Because they look like
Maybe. Maybe they get the little chunk going. They get the little glow and the little bloat. They look like they're ready to bench.
Back to your porn story.
What's I saying?
You're saying I was asking about 99% snapback rate, and you said, "Oh,
if
the
they
porn
didn't,
I watch."
yeah, if they didn't snap back, then they'd look more blown out. I think
Yeah, that's what I think they do.
I mean, sometimes they do.
Are
but
there a
they-
lot of porn stars that have had children?
They might have had they might have surgeries and stuff.
I imagine they have surgeries.
Yeah, maybe.
They can have things. Yeah, you can like
Yeah.
if things go badly, you can have a little stitch taken in there, and
Yeah.
everything's you
Yeah,
can
it
do that
seems
too.
all right.
Little vaginal remodeling.
Oh,
Remodeling. Oh,
remodel the
hang a
kitchen.
picture over here.
New granite,
Paint over this way.
wood floors,
Yeah,
new foundation.
something like
Vaginal
that.
remodeling.
Jesus, how do we get on this topic? You guys are gross.
I don't.
wrong with you
You
guys?
guys were talking about snapping back.
I don't. You did. I think you brought it up.
No, someone said 99%, and my mind was blown.
Snapchat. Snapping back like Snapchat.
Okay, what would the Google search be on this? How much does a vagina
Child fuck up a
stretch?
vagina.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds,
That
really,
sounds like
really terrible.
Catch a predator, smoky type stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, remember he's talking about kids' boners
That was weird.
on my YouTube channel.
There's
Nonetheless,
going to be some weird diagrams that pop up right now.
How much does a vagina weigh?
This clearly shows that this
Recover.
is such a meathead, and we lost at least 3 of our 7 lady listeners.
Yeah.
I said, fuck these fucking
How does it
chauvinistic
recover
pigs.
after-
We're out of here.
Just how much stretching you will experience.
Well, I know they talk about, what is it, a lady's deal is like us passing like a softball.
How the vagina is made for childbirth. A softball?
Right? Like having a baby is similar to a softball coming out my pee hole.
Oh, my God.
You've never
That
heard
would be
that?
awful.
Jim,
No.
you've heard that.
I have heard that before, yes.
Yeah. No, I couldn't even fucking imagine.
Well,
I'll take.
Even if I just crapped a softball, I'd be in trouble.
No way. I can't crap a softball.
Yeah, that would
Well, what's stretchier, a vagina or a bunghole?
Oh, vagina.
Oh, all right.
Vagina all day, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have one.
I'm out of this conversation for sure.
Your bunghole stretchy, I'd imagine.
I can't talk about any of this.
I feel like we haven't had these type of conversations in a while on the podcast, and I feel like that's what these
bringing
people,
it back to the.
I feel like that's what they're really
I
here
don't
for.
understand.
We'll get into some deadlift talk in a second, all right? You fucking nerds.
I don't understand why this site is like crashing on me. And it's not even porn. Like I can't make it move.
Yeah, it says vagina on it.
We're on
might have something to do with it.
vagina.com.
Vagina.
What you can do to get your vagina back in shape
Kegels.
after birth?
Kegels.
Yeah.
The vaginas ruin everything. That's why this website doesn't work.
This is really bad. I haven't seen anything like. Maybe it's People Magazine that's screwing it up.
What's this? Muscle cramps.
Yeah, this is something that Mark
Jim
and I were talking about this earlier. We don't know enough about it to talk about it on the show, I don't think.
That's
but-
half of everything I bring up. I know just enough.
No, we know enough about it to talk about it. Yeah, we know enough.
Okay, we do. All right.
There's muscle cramps, and what fixed it?
The guy basically kind of says pungent flavors and like things like
This is not having to do with vagina.
peppers. No, it's unrelated to the vagina area. It has to do with like spices and stuff. They just basically found out that muscle cramps, like a calf cramp and things like that, has to do a lot more with your with the like system in your body than it does have to do with actual dehydration.
They think
It's
like acidity level or some bullshit?
It's like neurological.
So maybe like curcumin or some bullshit.
And so you can take like spicy peppers or cinnamon and things like that, and it can help combat.
So
muscle spasms.
Chipotle's helping my cramps.
Chipotle, yeah. We're gonna get to the bottom of this vagina.
Yeah,
by
whether
the
or
way.
not your vagina returns to its original size depends on a number of factors: genetics, the size of your baby, the number of children you've had, and whether you do Kegel exercises regularly. After giving birth vaginally, it's normal for a vagina to be larger than it was before, and this effect is generally more pronounced after the birth of a large baby. This is caused by relaxation of the pelvic floor musculature. These muscles will lose their tone after each successive birth, although pelvic floor
Pussy
exercises,
muscle?
known as Kegels,
You gotta train
can
your
help
pussy
you
muscles.
tighten them up. If you haven't
That's
already
a good
done
girl,
so,
bad girl exercise.
you should start doing Kegels before you have the baby. That's a thing.
So it snaps back, but we don't know how much.
It's maybe a little individual, but in reality,
But we were more talking about after sex than anything else.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Like you can't
I
really
don't-
murder a pussy.
yeah,
I
I think-
agree. I was just thinking kids, like that has to
I
have
think
some
that
kind of
that's,
lasting effect.
Yeah.
I think that we've gotten to the heart of why Mike says he's never having kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't want my vagina jacked up.
All stretched
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I don't want
Mm.
to. All right, I got questions that are more related to what these nerds want to hear about. Do you play Pokemon Go?
I've never tried it, but my kids are playing it.
Yeah, I bet Jake's all about it.
Yeah, my son was like running around, and his friend came over early this morning, and I don't know, they were like ran off and they were chasing fucking Pokemons or whatever the hell. I don't know what.
I
they're
got it
doing.
on my phone right now.
Any plans to get Eddie Hall over to Sacramento?
Eddie Hall. No plans as of now, but definitely we'll figure out something with Eddie Hall at some point for sure.
These are great. These are rapid.
1,100-pound goddamn deadlift.
We'll go
Holy
rapid
shit.
fire at Mark, and then I'll find some rapid fire Jim, and then we can have more discussions.
Okay.
So I'll pick these out. Trend Dick or
I'll just be over
Decadick?
here with the.
Yeah, this is just a Mark.
With the
rapid
vaginas.
fire, Mark. Trend Dick, Decadick.
Either way, it feels like it got hit by a Mack truck.
Or a guy named Mac.
Do you wipe sitting or standing?
Yes.
What's your best calf routine?
I've never trained my calves.
Ever?
No. I don't
Even
think
back
so.
in the day?
I don't think so. I've done some seated calf and like I tried to stretch them, I guess, because like they've always been tight, but I've never really tried to like lift like.
You didn't want big ones.
Yeah, what do I got? I never did my forearms.
You
either.
just
It's
bought
stupid.
implants.
Yeah, it just seems dumb.
Crust or no crust?
I think that girls should train their calves though.
Well, they just wear heels and then they look like they work
Well,
out.
because girls with that's hot. And girls
What about
have
girls
good
with
legs.
cankles?
Yeah, you can't do it. You gotta have calves. You gotta have some calves.
Crust, no crust. I don't know if this is sandwich or pizza, but let's say pizza.
Maybe it's talking about your underwear.
Oh,
Crusty underwear.
Or our previous topic.
Regular washing.
Crust or no crust?
Regular washing is a good idea.
I don't usually eat the crust on my pizza, except
really?
for at the fucking Fat Boy place over here,
Pretty
Wicked
good.
Pizza.
What about Chicago Fire? They got good crust.
Yeah, sometimes I'll eat the crust.
You're no crust guy.
I'm so fat that I put butter on my crust. I feel ashamed.
Do you
to even
feel that
say
you diet that you're dieting when you just eat the pizza and skip the crust? Low carb pizza?
Yeah,
To make you feel better emotionally?
Well, see, all right. Cena is like a pizza eating whore, John Cena, and he said that you're making a big mistake by not eating the crust.
Yeah.
Because the crust has the least amount of calories and will fill you up the easiest. So when you're eating pizza, if you eat like
Holy
4 or 5
shit.
slices of pizza, that adds up over time, and
I agree.
You could save some of your macros a little bit.
Thanks, Cena.
That's amazing. I never thought about that. That's
he
a
has
game
certain
changer.
foods he calls waste of time, like chips, waste of time, no
Yeah.
protein. But pizza for some reason is fair game just because he loves pizza.
There's
I
a
think.
good amount of protein in there.
I know.
There's just a good amount
at
of
least-
everything.
Yeah, there's at least some. And then ice cream. He's big on ice cream too.
I like ice
I'm like, ice cream's not a waste of time. Why isn't ice cream a waste of time? He's like, it's dairy, bro. You need the calcium.
Do you
I'm not following this diet that well.
do you eat ass? And then the very next question is, and how much ass do you eat if you do?
Just probably just on Wednesdays usually.
Oh, that's a rest day, I think.
Yeah, Wednesday morning is kind of the ass eating day. I use it as a supplement.
There has to be calcium back there or something too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um,
Ass.
what are some good supplements for when you're on a cut?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe anything that'll help keep you on your diet.
Yeah,
I guess?
supplements are horseshit, buddy.
Yeah, they kind of are. But if you can find something that helps,
Yeah, maybe
helps
a
keep
protein
you-
bar or something if it keeps you from eating pizza.
even if you bought a fat burner and it somehow keeps you on your diet more because
I do think there's some stuff to that in terms of like caffeine. Is
you're just buying into the whole system. I guess, is
yeah.
what I'm
But even
saying.
like caffeine being a
Caffeine
stimulant
can
and,
help.
and perhaps being a appetite suppressant.
It helps somebody. Back in the day, Kiefer used to talk about when people were hearing from Kiefer all the time, nicotine gum. Like you don't want to get addicted to nicotine gum, but apparently it is a good appetite suppressant.
right.
And you
It's
can
a
buy it
long
over the
topic,
counter.
but everyone always asks it.
Who's the best liftoff guy in the history of super training?
No,
Gym?
that's
Oh.
easy answer. Easy answer, my friends. Advice for your first powerlifting meet. I'm sure we talked about it, but maybe we should cover it a little bit.
Yeah,
I just feel it's everywhere.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. I would just say your opening attempt should be something that you can do for 3 reps with perfect form, and then go from there. Jump. If you're a chick, add 15 pounds to the bar. If you're a dude, add 20 or 30 to the bar. Have a lot of fun. Make a lot of lifts. Make sure you bring a lot of food with you because you don't know how long the day is going to be, but you can be sure that it's going to be very long. Bring some shit to hydrate yourself with. Just pretend that there's not going to be any food or water there, because that's always a possibility. Make a checklist before you leave the house and make sure you have everything with you, like the night before or 2 days before.
Belt,
So yeah,
singlet, long socks, whatever
Yeah.
equipment you use to
just
use.
flat out do a goddamn checklist. Make sure everything is in your bag. We've seen it happen a lot. People
Yep.
show up to meets without a singlet.
And here's a
things like
list
that.
for you. Basics of almost every federation, regardless, is you're going to need a T-shirt, not a tank top. You're going to need a singlet. You're going to need some type of shoes. 'cause
2
you have to lift with
turntables and a
shoes.
microphone.
You're going to need some steroids because that's mandatory. They'll check that at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
You'll
I'll be checking that.
You also, I'm going to need to confiscate this. You're also going to need some type of long sock that goes up to your knee. That's going to be in almost every federation. And beyond that, it's just kind of on your own face.
Cameraman.
You're going to
Cameraman,
need 2
yeah.
Instagrammers, 2
To add-
Snapchatters, and a YouTuber.
To add some swag in there, you need a hot chick with you. Even if she has nothing to do with
She
you,
can
just
just
hire
carry the
her for the
Gatorade.
day. Yeah, and then people are going to be like, holy fuck, did you see that guy was with that hot chick?
Yeah.
And that's going to up your game.
And potentially your confidence in total.
People are going to see it on Instagram. It's going to up everything. It's just going to make everything better.
If you're a deadlifter who uses baby powder, bring some baby powder.
Yeah, a little baby powder on your balls
If
too. Why not?
if you're super paranoid about there being chalk, because sometimes, occasionally,
Yeah.
people run out.
Depending.
Bring a little bit of your own.
The veterans have everything.
Yeah, exactly.
If you did forget something, just look for the oldest guy in the room. He will have everything.
They're like doomsday preppers for meat.
yeah.
Two things that I would bring up as unrelated or related question, but not asked, is when should you compete and how strong do you have to be? You know, my answer is always just if you can do the lifts efficiently, safely, and within the standards of the federation, it's time to compete. And then two, on top of what Mark said, is try to network and meet people. It's kind of like number one of this whole thing. Like, it's cool.
Absolutely.
It's cool to lift. It's cool to get jacked. It's cool to get strong. But try to build the community by not being a dick in the corner. To meet people. If you're getting ready to lift, sure, you can turn on your screamo and get angry. But in between shit, be friendly, meet people.
Yeah. Don't be a wallflower.
What do you recommend to improve the first 25% of my deadlift? I'm guessing from the ground to his shin, I guess? Like starting deadlift?
25%?
We need Joey. Do we have a mathematician in the building?
What's 25% of a deadlift, Joey?
Jesus.
From where to where? How many inches is 20?
I believe 25% is a quarter.
Yeah.
Marcus, Filipino Thunder with the math out of the fucking closet.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I guess starting speed off the deadlift.
Yeah, speed off the floor. Fuck, man. Oh, what do you? I think I got all the answers over here. Normally, what we always talk about is the answer is in your form and in your technique, and
the answer lies in the question.
Yeah, the answer. Oh, yes. You must be very wise to answer your own question. Usually it has to do with form, and then from there, because it has to do with form, you have to repeat your form over and over again. So you have to do multiple sets and multiple reps with sub-maximal weights to be able to kind of plow through some of those sticking points. And if you're stuck on the floor and you don't have enough speed, you're going to have to do 3 sets of 5 and 3 sets of 3 and 4 sets of 4 and 6 sets of 4 and so on. You have to do all that different kind of stuff to go through that sticking point over and over and over again. You could also try to incorporate some bands and do a little bit of traditional West Side barbell, do some speed training. The advantage of doing speed training using 50 or 60% of your max is that you can just absolutely kind of lose your mind and go a little nuts and really try to rip the weights off the ground with not as much regard to your form. However, in order for it to transfer over, you're going to have to make sure your form is still locked in and that you're staying tight, which is sometimes the hard part of speed training, is the fact that the weights aren't always heavy enough to represent what you're going to actually lift. And just, anytime you can have the opportunity to make your lower back stronger is an opportunity to make yourself more explosive and to make yourself stronger. So good mornings, stiff leg deadlifts, 45-degree back raises, weighted 45-degree back raises, as like Pete Rubis showed us. The last element and the most important element of the whole thing is just lift like a motherfucker. Stop being a pussy and stop trying to overthink everything so much. When it comes time to lift, when you're warmed up and you're ready to go, really try to rip those weights off the ground. Make sure the form is good, but really try to rip those weights off the ground. You'll notice that if from one week to the next, if you just try to lift harder and you just try to have more confidence and you're just a little bit more positive, that you'll actually lift better.
I've done some self-surveys probably for the last 2 years. I've answered every single form, critique, or question on my Instagram that people tag me in, direct message, Twitter, and
in the DM,
and my Facebook. So I don't even know the number. Like literally probably 5 to 10 a day. People saying, "Hey Mike, can you check out my deadlift?" And I've answered every single fucking one. And what I've come across in my own brain is that the guys that are over analyzing things need to just do what Mark just said, and the guys that think they can fucking lift need to think a little harder and train a little smarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like guys like messaged me, I think it was yesterday. He's like, "Hey Mike, like what do you think like where my hips are in this deadlift?" Which is it's a fine question because you need to find that starting position. And the guy deadlifts like fucking almost perfect. I was like, "I don't know, bro. Looks pretty good." He's like, "Well, what do you think about this angle and this?" And I was like, "Looks pretty good, man. Like it looks pretty fucking good." And then someone lifts like a sloppy fucking mess, back rounded, hips high as shit, fucking stiff-legged motherfucker. And he's asking me maybe about like something unrelated, nutrition or something. I was like, "No, first fix your fucking deadlift before your spine splatters on the wall."
It's funny when years ago when we had Louis come out, a bunch of us got to lift for him, so he could watch our form and technique and shit. I thought there was probably going to be a lot of leverage in that for me. And he watched me squat and said, "Yep, that looks fine."
Yeah, pretty
good.
good.
He watched me deadlift and said, "Yep, I don't see anything wrong with it." It's like, well, fuck, what did I,
Yeah. Well, what you do in your head is like, well, now what? I can't get any stronger, right? Because
Yeah.
you start freaking out. But
because everyone thinks that there's going to be a little fix that's going to make things amazingly different. They're looking for a silver bullet. And it's like, oh, there isn't one. You just need to be stronger. It's
well,
like,
I don't know how much I've talked about it here, but on videos we talk about it a lot. There's kind of 3 ways to get stronger, and one is like skill acquisition, like getting better at the lift, kind of like that technique. The better your technique is,
learning the movement,
the better you're going to be. One is just like building muscle. The more muscle you have, the more potential power you have. And then 2 is like motor pattern or firing like motor patterns and like power. So like firing more motor units per fucking second or whatever nerd shit, but you become more powerful.
Right.
And so like, you focus on one little aspect of all 3 every single training session, and then in 5 years you get stronger.
Yeah.
Right, and there's also like a little bit of like a mind-muscle connection to some of it where, I was just talking about like just kind of saying fuck it and rip the weight off the ground. If you start to envision yourself lifting these weights harder, lifting these weights faster while you're doing some of your bullshit assistance, instead of just doing like lat pull downs or instead of just doing rows, or instead of just doing like grip work haphazardly or shrugs or whatever it is, envision yourself, ripping up a PR deadlift in a meet, holding the weight in front of the judges and standing tall with it and standing strong with it. Those visualizations will turn into reality if you do them enough, and you gotta continue to be positive. I think a lot of times people, they get in a slump, about their certain lift that they do, like, oh man, I got a deadlift today, and they get frustrated,
or just
and they're
weeks,
already partially defeated, and they lose their mojo on the lift a little bit. But just back to just what I said earlier, just let's go in there and try to rip the weights up and really try to attack it. And sometimes some things have to just be forced. You have to kind of force it to happen.
If you can't do floor press, what's an exercise just as good?
How could you not have to do?
He doesn't have a floor?
Yeah, Dr. Floor was the inventor of the floor press.
Like
in 1964.
You don't have to do a floor press. You don't really have to do any lift unless you power lift. You have to squat, bench, and deadlift. Other than that, no lift is mandatory.
If you're looking for something other than a floor press, you can simply do a board press with your feet up.
Yeah.
Because part of the beauty of a floor press, if there's anything great about it, is the fact that your feet are up and that your back is flat. I suggest floor presses to people whenever they have an injured back, because it does take your lower back out of the equation. Your lower back's no longer hyperextended by laying on a bench. But yeah, just some form of a board press would be a good alternative to a floor press.
Well, you can still do floor press with dumbbells, right? If you can't get a barbell to the floor because of
a rack
limitations, you can always do them with dumbbells.
Not bad.
It's not exactly the same exercise, but it accomplishes basically the same thing.
Might be a little safer too on your shoulders.
Yeah.
How many days a week do you lift?
We lift 4 days a week. That brings up a good point. I see a lot of people just doing so many exercises in a given workout. If you're working out 4 days a week and you're working out hard, you got 3 to 5 exercises that you need to work on, in my opinion, as a powerlifter. I don't think you really need any more than that. I see a lot of the big push, for the natty lifters. They always get all excited about, this routine works for a guy who's natural and this doesn't work for a guy who's not natural, and so on. The guys who are natural most of the time overdo it, and the guys who are on stuff a lot of times they kind of like underdo it, and there's a bunch of reasons why. Normally, the guys that use are veterans of the game. Yeah. They've been around for a little bit longer. No, I'm talking normally. Yes, there's people that are like 20 years old that just start taking shit out of nowhere, which isn't a smart move. But you only need to do 4 or 5 exercises if you're training 4 days a week. Sometimes with the upper body, you might need a little bit more. Sometimes if it's purely just an assistance day, you might need a little bit more. If you're trying to attack a weak muscle group, you might need a little bit more. But you shouldn't be doing 6 or 7 different exercises in a day.
I think Mark's talking about the natty or not.
Natty or not, here I come.
More has to do. I see you just chasing people with needles. Just a fucking like the Cupid of fucking syringes. Is all of that more has to do with the individual than it does have to do with the drugs or non-drugs or
Yeah.
It has to do with the individual, and it has to do with the individual's experience. Bryce Lewis is a good example. Does train higher frequency, does train higher volume, but the guy's technique in all 3 lifts is fucking immaculate.
Right.
His nutrition's locked in. I don't know, but
He also,
as far as I've talked to Bryce, he's a happy guy, right? Like
very
all
ha-
these things,
very happy.
all
yeah.
these things
yeah,
taken
what's
into
up
such an
with him?
account, right? They're like he runs his own.
Very positive.
He runs his own business. He moved to Colorado, like where he wants to live. He has a wife. He has a dog. He works at his own time. Like he
He
gets
reads books and stuff.
he does what he wants.
all
So
smart and
stress
everything.
seems low. He
Yeah.
trains when he wants because he doesn't have a 9 to 5. Stress seems low.
Yeah.
All these factors line up for perfect training conditions. On top of he's been lifting since he was 15.
He's in other words, he's a professional lifter.
Yeah.
Kind of, and
Turned himself
and
into
his
a
technique is so high that the higher your technique is, the more frequency and volume you can handle. Because when you deviate from your technique, muscle breakdowns kind of in the wrong way, I guess would be the way to put it. Right? You squat not perfectly. More stress on your low back, more stress on your traps, whatever it may be. Guys like him or Dan Green or our homegirl Katie Ann trains very similar. Katie's got great fucking form.
Katie Ann's a monster.
She's jacked. She's been training for a long time. She was a collegiate
unbelievable.
athlete.
Right.
She was a track person at like Ohio State,
Yeah.
which is not a small program. So she already has these genetic factors, let alone now her technique's really good, let alone she's been training her face off for 5 years, rather than someone that's kind of been training kind of good for 2 or 3 years and is like, oh, I'm going to squat every day and bench every day and deadlift every other day. Like
Right.
you might not be ready for that situation.
Right.
I was talking to Andy Askow, IPF junior champion, squat at 807.
Chub.
Yeah, bench 501. Just a freak.
Redhead, right?
Yeah, red. No head, but red beard.
Oh, yeah, red beard, yeah.
Super funny kid. 22. He's been I said, hey, what?
That's a thick kid, man. That's a big kid.
He's huge, big old Wisconsin-bred son of a bitch. I was like, well, when did you start lifting? Would you, football? He was like, oh, I started powerlifting when I was 14. I was like, oh, you play football or wrestle? He's like, no. I started powerlifting when I was 14. So that motherfucker leading up into the 807 squatted 750 like 30 days straight. Right? His squat form's perfect. He eats what he wants because he's super heavyweight. His quads are fucking ginormous.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for 10 years already, and he's only 22. Like, those factors aren't taken into account when you see someone on Instagram, you're like, oh, I'm going to go to his coach, and I'm going to do that. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm going to try that. Yeah, and then plus, someone like Bryce Lewis or some of these other guys, the guys that do squat often or bench often or deadlift often, again, they still are adhering to not having too many exercises in a given
No,
day.
they're probably squat, bench, dead, and done or something.
They might be done. Yeah, they might be done. They might,
On top of that, like, so I think Andy told me last 30 days into peak, he squatted like 730 to 770, and he ended up squatting 807. Yeah. That's like 80% or something, right? So you hear the number like 700. Holy shit, he's squatting 700 every day. That's an 800-pound squatter.
Right.
So it's different for someone who's like, oh, I'm a 500-pound squatter. I'm going to squat 480 every day. Like, that's 90%. Now you're doing something wrong. Right? Now these laws don't apply. People actually, from coaching experience online and in person, just assume percents.
Right.
Like, hey, Jim, we're going to do 60%, 5x5 today. And you're like, it's about 225. Like, no. Put it in your phone. You'll be highly surprised.
Yeah.
Well, and also the percents are hard to associate sometimes, like taking Kirill Sergev, who did 738 bench.
Yeah.
I believe his best bench before that was 661 for 4 reps.
Yeah, or 675, something like that, yeah.
And 661, represent what percentage of 738. But also, on top of that, 738 wasn't the upper limit. We don't know what the upper limit was.
True. Yeah, so
he
might
have been able to. He might have been able to do that 738 may have represented 97% of his max or 95% of his max.
So what I think it was is he did that 661, which is roughly 90% of what his third attempt would be, not what his 100 max is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't max. He just hit a PR.
Right. So both those numbers are maybe lower.
And I think that should be everybody's goal. I think that should be kind of the new way of powerlifting is you should be looking at hitting PRs and not necessarily maxes. If your training is optimal and if everything's and it's not always going to be that way. Sometimes you're going to do a lift and it's just going to be shitty. I did a 615 for 5 reps this week, sumo deadlift, and I was kind of hoping it would be a little cleaner. I was hoping to get 6 reps, and I got 5. That kind of stuff happens all the time. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the game for, you're going to run into shit like that. But at the same time, you would like to see your PRs turn into lifts that aren't all out effort, and then have people go, wow, that looked fucking clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yeah, I was pretty good, man. I was a PR. And they'll go, what? Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
That's the way it should end up.
Yeah.
you're talking about being as disciplined in your training as possible.
Yeah.
And like
It's hard.
and keeping from being froggy when you
Yeah.
shouldn't be froggy. But it kind of goes back to we were talking about Bryce and nutrition. Bryce carries some fluff, but he
does.
carries it intentionally, and he carries a specific amount.
I
of
believe
it.
he still tracks his food, and if he doesn't, it's because he tracked his food for 10 years and he knows what he's taking in.
Yeah, he isn't just eating anything and everything.
Right.
He isn't eating shit. He's maintaining his body weight because he knows he lifts best.
Yeah.
At that body weight. If
And
that's
that's
not.
another good point because like maybe he doesn't love carrying around that extra body weight,
He may not.
but he loves hitting a 700-pound squat and training.
And he's going to be an IPF world champion in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll put my fucking money on it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's very determined. So what's going to stop him?
What Mark was talking about, like percentages, and if not if they matter or not, but like people thinking wrong of them is I don't know, so don't quote me, but Jim Wendler does 90% of your max and then takes that number as your training max.
Yeah, right.
And other people say a training.
It's just a way to try to
Yeah. People say training max, and they mean like not hyped up, not peaked, like just walk. Your dog died, everything's sad. What max could you hit right now on the squat bench?
I've
today?
heard people just call it like a mini max, where it's like a 2-rep max, 3-rep max, like
which is closer to 90,
Yeah, right.
95%.
rather than have because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to prescribe somebody to do 3 sets of 3 with 315 and rep number. You have 9 reps to do for the day, and 7 out of the 9 reps are just crap.
Yeah.
You can't have that. It's going to be really, really hard to make progress that way.
And you're definitely not going to be able to bench 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 times that.
If
that
you're
week.
young and you're new to the sport, then you can probably make some progress that way. But in general, that's going to be a really short-lived way to make any progress.
Right.
I think this question is directed at me. It's on my Instagram, but we can all get
Why are you
into
so
it.
hot?
How do you usually structure your workouts as far as weights, reps, and sets? I've been doing Wendler's routine for the past year and a half, but I've always wondered how you plan for your main lifts since you don't appear to be following any particular plan. If that is directed at me, you probably don't follow anything I do because I always have a fucking plan. Like I'm not one to just go in things haphazardly besides maybe my accessories.
Well, people assume that they're seeing 100% of the lifting that you do when they look at the videos. And
Yeah.
that's totally not right. So you can't
But even-
reverse engineer what your plan was
Still-
out of.
It still blows my mind though, because on Instagram I say what my goal was for the day and like what I did. YouTube I obviously voice over and go into depth of what I'm doing, why goals. Because like one thing, my goal is to like preach of like having a plan, having a goal, and getting after it. So it's not like I'm just saying like, nope, I'm gonna randomly do doubles today.
I would like to try to simplify stuff for people a little bit. Like everyone's a little bit different with how organized they want to be with their training, but you should always have an intent for the day. You should always have a goal for the day. Your intent for a particular day, like maybe let's say Mike deadlifted 685 in a Pokemon costume last week.
It's gonna happen.
And then this week
Thanks
he's
for giving away my gimmick.
And then this week he's dressed up as Legends of Zelda,
Oh.
but he knows he doesn't want to go as heavy.
Link.
Have your main focus switch a little bit and have your intent switch rather than just going heavy every week. Maybe instead of going heavy, maybe his intent and his goal is simply just to get a lot of work in. Maybe he feels he's out of shape. Maybe he did a workout and he got out of breath and was like, "Fuck, man, I'm in terrible shape." Maybe his goal is simply to get more work in less time. So he sets his watch and he says, "I want to get to my almost like a CrossFit workout.
Yeah, what do people talk
Get to
so
my
much
max
shit on
set
CrossFit, but
in 12 minutes and get it done with and move on to the next exercise."
Yeah, people talk all this shit on CrossFit. CrossFit does a great job of powerlifters, bodybuilders. People have done it forever, but testing yourself in different variables, right? So there's like volume, how many sets, reps, and weight you do. There's max effort, which is how much weight you actually move. But then there's time capacity. There's general work. There's so many other. Maybe I know Mark just ranted about this, and so not to go against it because I don't agree with this. But you do 5 or 6 good exercises, maybe even less if you're a power lifter. But what if you're like, shit, I'm going to push my volume by adding 1 extra exercise. It's a push-up. Right, so you do 1 set of 20 this week. Next week you do 2 sets of 20. Right, you're just adding more volume, more exercise, more variation, whatever it may be. But work capacity can be judged, and progress can be judged in multiple areas. It's not just 1 rep max.
I don't
that's
think
what we're getting at.
I don't think something like a body weight exercise, like a push-up or whatever, is going to count against you if you do it. I don't think that's going to be detrimental.
Not at all.
But
Unless
yeah,
you're not ready for it.
having an intent of the day, whether it's moving faster, moving better, maybe your form is just better. You should always have an intent of the day, whether you have a plan or not. I know somebody like Matt Winning, he will preach against a plan until until a contest is closer, because he likes to use a conjugate system, and he likes to not have any negative or weird feelings associated with what he's about to do for the day, or his training partners, because in his environment they all do a similar thing.
Yeah, whatever setup on the bar.
And so if he says, hey, we got to do safety squat bar, against chains, and Mike's like, fuck, that's my most hate. He doesn't want Mike to have the anxiety, so rather than like telling him a week in advance, just tells him when he shows up.
Yeah.
And so it's a little different. A little different mindset there. But again, there's always an intent of the day with Matt Wenning or anybody else, anybody who's great at the
sport. To hit a max that day or whatever.
Anyone who's great at the sport, there's always going to be an intent of the day. Jesse Norris doing, 3 sets of 10 with like 585 or whatever the hell, 495 in a deadlift the other day. His goal was to get a lot of work done. And if he wasn't getting sets of 10, he probably would have dropped the weight down a little bit, So you have to have an intent of the day, and you have to follow through with that intent and make sure that it actually fucking gets done, because that's the goal.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to like what your true goal is, right? Like obviously powerlifters typically to get your biggest total, but like for me, my goal in life, lifting and everything, is just progress. Progress makes me feel good, and so I need progress.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to get progress, in my opinion, for my personal goals, whatever that might be, bigger, stronger, faster, whatever, I need a plan, and then I need things to judge if that plan's working. So people talk shit. It's like a common media thing, just because so much stuff's going on about fat shaming or whatever. Like, throw away the scale, girl. That number doesn't judge you.
Right.
Like, well, a scale is a great tool.
Mm-hmm.
Does it give me my confidence? No. But if I wake up every day and I'm 230 pounds and my goal is to lose weight or gain weight, well, it's not fucking working.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do is I weigh myself every single day, and I address that progress with my plan on the back end, whether it's calories or cardio or volume in training. And so for me to have a plan in training, it's similar.
Yeah.
If I'm doing, 7x3 at 335 pounds this week, I want to do it at 340 pounds next week. And if that plan isn't in line, then I don't know when the progress is coming.
Yeah.
Right? And there is a backside to that, where just because I hit a max triple doesn't mean my PR necessarily went up, but it's a pretty fucking good indicator that I'm going to hit a bigger number coming up.
Yeah, I think everyone's so scared of change, and they're afraid to also admit when they're wrong. It's all very understandable. But the changes that you make can literally be life-altering sometimes. You might be stuck at something, and you might be stuck for a while. And if you were to never change it, it'll never change you. You'll never have the opportunity to have that be an influence if you're not open to some change and you're not open to trying something different. I think people associate change with pain, and they think this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. This is going to actually hurt me. Like, maybe not physically, but it might hurt your goal, or it might result in
It's uncomfortable.
In a worse result. But there's a saying that says pain is everywhere, and it's too painful to duck. So don't bother getting out of the way. Just accept it. It's kind of more the thing.
And sometimes when you change things, you go backwards for a while. Yeah. And you ultimately go further forward, but
of course
you have to take that.
That's
hit to
the hardest
ego.
part.
Yeah,
when you go backwards, and we've seen it. How many times have we worked with people in here that are new off the streets? We show them something, and you can immediately see in their face they're like, "That fucking sucked."
Yeah,
like that was a lot worse than the way I was doing it.
Yeah.
And you have to reassure them again and again. No, I know, I know what you're feeling. I know how bad that feels. I know it feels like shit to straighten out your back rather than round it the way you are.
Yeah, deadlift 300 instead of your 500-pound sets.
Exactly.
But this is the correct way to do it, and this is a better way to the top. You have a much steeper climb.
Right.
The route you're currently going, because you are going. We know, we've seen it happen. We know that you're going to get hurt.
Right.
We have a crystal ball for you, and it shows that you get injured.
Best variation / form of deadlift for better back muscle growth.
I like the snatch grip deadlift, man. That's a real beast of a fucking lift. But just a good old school, just conventional pulling, conventional deadlifting is, in my opinion, kind of where it's at. You can do it off a slight deficit or something like that, and obviously the wider grip will give you kind of the snatch grip feel to it, where you're building up the lats and the traps and mid and upper back like crazy. But deadlifting has been utilized by bodybuilders for years, and just the old school, just regular traditional style of bodybuilding. If you're somebody who's trying to, get a bigger back, you might want to try to do 1 week of deadlifting followed by 1 week of bent over rows, and keep flip-flopping it back and forth so you can always stay fresh.
Yeah, if I was to quote-unquote switch sports and just go bodybuilding and just try to build my back, I think I might do rack pulls.
Yeah.
Instead of my regular deadlift.
Yeah, maybe a little more partial range of motion. Yeah, all the way off the floor might not be necessary.
Yeah, I'll be able to handle more weight. I'll probably go straps to keep my, quote-unquote symmetry.
Fucking cheater.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Yeah, straps.
Oh
on the bar.
Holy
Now we're back to Eddie Hall and
Yeah, I'll throw on a single ply sit. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, Eddie Hall without straps. He's good for
7?
He's good for 225.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you think? 225. 315.
He needs to get into movies.
Oh yeah, he's a big fucker.
When he's got a big old scar on his face, sorry if that's touchy, buddy, but you look like a badass. You should be a fucking villain in a movie. Like, you look dope.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fuck with you.
Yeah, I ate breakfast sitting next to him, and it was.
Did you in bed?
It's intimidating. Breakfast in bed. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big fuck.
Yeah, he's huge. Him and Hap Thorby Ornson, it was like a circus. And Benedict was there. Benedict
There's a bunch
Magnuson.
of freaks.
Benedict Magnuson threatened to rape me in the bathroom. That was awkward.
Oh yeah,
he's a crackhead.
he's big. You disappeared. He followed you down the hallway, and I couldn't see you anymore.
He's huge. Yeah, I couldn't believe his fucking lats.
In
were
every
just
sense, or
Oh yeah, he's big all over, buddy. Mhm.
Icelandic fucking big glacier down
I saw
there.
his helmet. Saw his Viking helmet.
Actually, we have a pretty good question here, Smelly. We may be able to make this happen. I don't know how adventurous you are. Silent Mike, what would it take to convince you and Mark Smelly Bell to come be a guest at my wedding? This would be the ultimate wedding gift for my
Didn't
fiance.
somebody-
He loves you guys. Would watch your YouTube videos every morning. Dude, we go be wedding crashers.
every morning.
Didn't somebody sent me or us a invitation at one point?
I wonder
right?
if it's her.
Wisconsin or
Steph. I don't know. She's a NPC figure competitor. Steph, that would be hilarious. Where do you live? I don't see where she lives. Here we go. She's at a baseball game. Where are you? Omaha, maybe? Volunteering at the College World Series in Omaha. I mean, I'm just creeping and being a fucking FBI agent, but
something? Yeah,
it looks like maybe we're going to Omaha.
I don't know.
Where the hell is Omaha? Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Can't they just get married inside a super training gym?
You know what they come here?
I mean, I bet if we offered.
How many times in the last probably 9 months have people said that they wanted to send their husband to be here for their
I think somebody
bachelor
did.
party?
I think somebody already did.
Yeah, but it comes up all the time, like a lot.
I
You
think that's
guys-
because of my stripping background.
that's probably it.
Yeah.
You guys don't see the you guys don't
probably
see
it.
those emails, but I see them as they come in. Like a lot of them.
Yeah,
There's a guy.
birthdays and anniversaries,
Yeah,
presents. And
yeah. There was a guy here yesterday from England.
Yeah, yeah.
Sheffield, England.
That's really weird.
I don't know. I'll go to a wedding.
Do you have to bring a gift if you?
I think I am the gift, she said.
Oh.
She said it would be the best wedding gift ever. Ultimate wedding gift ever for her fiance. That means it's fucking, I don't got to buy nothing. What kind of food are you guys having?
Yeah.
What kind of cake?
Is it a sit down dinner? Is it a buffet?
I'll
Is
dance.
it
I'll dance all night.
Open bar.
open
Yeah.
bar? Yeah.
Wedding Crashers is one of my favorite movies ever. I would
that's a
love
great-
to do that.
That's a great movie.
Vince Vaughn is amazing.
That's a really good movie. I just saw that a couple days ago.
So good. That old school Anchorman, when that shit's on TV, you turn it on. If you flip by that, you're a piece of shit. Turn it back on.
No, you have to. You know what I always end up watching is The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Why are movies like that? They're always
I
on
don't know.
TNT.
I've seen The Fugitive probably 600 times.
Yeah, it's always on TNT for
Like
some
it's
reason.
some part of it. I've seen it 600 times.
Yeah, but you never see the whole thing.
No, I don't even
You
know.
probably
yeah.
haven't even seen the whole thing.
No, I have at some point. Yeah. Richard Kimball.
I actually I'm reading a book that one of the it's called it's about popular crime. It's called Popular Crime, and what the case that's based on is one of the things that really breaks down.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of interesting.
Last question, then we got to go squat.
Yeah.
Would you rather have sex with a goat and nobody know about it, or have everybody believe that you had sex with a goat and it didn't happen?
Why would you want to do the second one? Because that one's really detrimental.
The second one,
Yeah.
meaning your well, I think this is a very psychological. This is a very good test because it's wondering about your morals and your acts or your reputation. You got to choose your acts or your reputation. You're choosing your reputation right now. Did you fuck a goat? But you didn't have to stick it in.
You fuck one goat. That's
Or did you
the
not
old
fuck the
joke.
goat, but the whole world thinks you fucked the goat? I don't fuck the goat. I let the world know.
Can you have like a seeing eye goat?
What
So
does
there's
that mean?
like
Oh,
a
like instead of
seeing-eye
dog? I think goats aren't that. I think they're smart-ish, but I think pigs.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Pigs are really smart. You could probably have a pig lead you around.
Really?
Pigs are smart, and dolphins. I think dolphins are really smart.
One of my friends had a pig in the house, and it wasn't working out so good.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe a mini pig. Oh, was it Rob Dyrdek had a mini horse?
Yeah. Yeah. The pig.
George Clooney had a mini pig.
Yeah. The
Really?
potbelly pig thing was popular for a little while.
Look, we need to get a Rob Dyrdek.
It
on
sizzled
this.
out.
Oh.
Bacon the day.
Yeah.
If we could get Rob Dyrdek on the show, I'd be pretty happy.
Where is he anyway?
L.A. He's right next to. Actually, I can't tell where.
He's right next to our boy.
He's in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
L.A.
He's actually right next to whatchamacallit. Where's all the bums live in L.A.?
All over the place.
All over the place.
No,
yeah.
no.
Venice?
Skid Row.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I think he's close to Skid Row.
Skid Row. Yeah. How come he's not on our show?
Yeah,
Where is he?
Rob and Big would be hilarious. We'll take Big.
Is
as
Big
well.
still alive?
I think they're still chilling. I think they had a breakup, like a real breakup, and then they got back together.
I didn't know
Really?
that they got back together.
Yeah, they're back together. Rob's back on the show.
Hmm.
They're amazing. They're a great duo.
Yeah.
Rob and Big, if you guys want to come on the show, there's an open invite.
Yeah, anybody knows Robin Big.
Yeah, where
Big's
are
got to
they?
be able to bench press.
How about Joe Rogan? Why won't he come on the show?
Mr.
Where's he
Rogan, you and Mr. Diaz.
and
can come
Bo
as well.
Jackson. Does anybody know Bo Jackson?
Remember that one guy? He messaged us. He said he did.
We
He said
I
his like
know.
cousin knew him or
I
something.
know, but you didn't really know him.
No, it didn't go through.
We had the Bo Jackson card here.
I have a feeling we have a better chance with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, something.
UFC December in the new stadium.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Really? Hey,
that's
now.
what I heard.
That's a possibility.
In December?
December. Maybe Rogan will be here then.
Maybe I'll have a good shot at tickets. being
That'd be
a season
sick.
Ticket holder.
Oh, yeah. I bet you do.
Possibly.
I bet you we might be able to creep in. Amadeo's got to know somebody. Rogan's
Yeah,
got to know
Somebody's
somebody.
got to
We'll
know
find
somebody
it.
somewhere.
We'll find somebody.
Goddamn Reebok's got to help us out. Something.
Yeah. Why can't they
Somebody.
get us some tickets?
That's a
They
good question.
should.
Hey, Mr.
Nobody,
Reebok.
nobody likes us.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
It's the issue is like the coasts are supposed to be where things are going on, but we're on the West Coast, which is an issue, I think. You know? Some of the shit.
And we're not in L.A.
That's true.
Are you saying it's an East Coast, West Coast thing?
It's yeah. Yeah.
As it happened to Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah, it's us.
Damn.
I'm out of here.
All right, let's.
I'm gonna do a
See how
squat.
long we can pause for and have people still listen.
Play the quiet game with our crowd.
Pause.
Say the quiet game.
Bear pause. Multiply your hustle, multiply your muscle, and may all your shits be tapered on at Mark Smiley Bell on Instagram and Twitter. Later, motherfuckers.
Go support those that support us. Appreciate all our sponsors that take care of us and the podcast that allow this shit to happen. Shout out to our guys, 8 Man Strong.
Thank you, Jesus.
At 8manstrong.com, bodybuilding.com for all your supplement needs. Urban Ice Organics to connect your mind and your body at naturalorganics.com. For your pre-training energy, go to Chimera Coffee with K, Chimera, K, coffee.com. Increase your bench press, how much you bench.net. Power Magazine, the only strength magazine, available in digital and print, thepowermagazine.com. On Silent Mike, 2K's Instagram and Twitter.
I'm Jimmy D, STTV. Everywhere that I would want you to find me, follow the show on Instagram. We are at Mark Bell's PowerCast. And we're out. Mark Bell's PowerCast is a production of SuperTraining.tv.